Hello, I'm Lyle Lee Jenkins. I'm going to explain what crazy, simple education is all about. Here we go. Students can learn far more than we ever expected. Far more. To do this, kindergarten through college, university, we have to replace the practices that we all inherited that are causing kids, the longer they're in school, to care less and less and less about learning. We have almost 100% of our kindergartners coming to school eager to learn, and every year fewer and fewer and fewer of them care about coming to school to learn. There's three things that are inherited. They're part of the design. They're not the fault of any teacher or any administrator in our schools. It's the design problem. It's like if your skyscraper is having problems, you don't blame the people that are in the building for the problem because it doesn't seem to be very steady in a hurricane. It's a design problem. That's what's going on in the schools is causing this loss of enthusiasm for learning. And then for elementary school, it has to do with instruction. So I'd say the K-16, crazy simple, we talk about the learning. And for elementary school, we add on reading, writing, and math instruction that makes sense, that makes a lot of difference in the lives of children. So how do we take away these habits that cause kids to not care about learning anymore? The first habit to remove is kids have permission to forget. They learn this early on in kindergarten and first grade. They get a list of sight words to read for the week, get a test. Then the next week they get another list and a test. The next week another list and a test. What do they learn? Well, they learn a few words, but most importantly, they learn I don't have to learn this past the test. Don't need it anymore. A number of years ago, after a seminar in Kentucky, a student said to the teacher in November of first grade, "You mean I'm supposed to know this for life? Forever?" They're in shock because permission to forget was taken away. It goes all the way through the grades, even on into medical school. Cram, get your grade, forget. We use data for discouragement. Students aren't looking forward to exams. They should be. No, we have to replace data for discouragement with data for encouragement. And then we have bribery. I am so glad we're not bribing kids to walk. We're not bribing kids to run. We're not bribing kids to talk. They learn it. If we had our school practices in place when kids are trying to learn to walk and talk, oh my goodness, would we have so much more remedial. We should not have to bribe them. They don't need incentives to learn. They didn't learn them before they got to kindergarten, and they don't need to learn them when they're in school. We have to replace them. A number of years ago, early 2000s, Steve Jobs got up in front of an audience and said, Apple's going to give you three new inventions. The first one is portable music. You can carry your music around with you wherever you go. And then he said, we have another invention that's going to make it easy for you to be connected to the internet. And we have a third invention that's going to allow you to keep your phone in your pocket. So people are all excited, waiting for three different products that Apple's going to offer them. And then he said, guess what? It's all in one product. It's the iPhone, all three in one. That's what we've got with the L2J process. It's three in one. We take away permission to forget. Students actually want to learn and they know they have to learn. We take away data for discouragement. Students beg for quizzes. And we take away bribery. We replace it with celebrations. We're not bribing athletes to win the game. No, but when they win, they get to celebrate. We don't need to bribe students but we do want to celebrate with them when they do better than they've ever done before. We can replace all three of those with one process we've come to call L to J. We're moving from the L-shaped curve through the bell curve to the J curve. So then what do we do in elementary school for instruction? We want all students to know they can read. There's only 3 approaches to reading that we've used in the United States. We've used one that starts with sounds. We have another method that starts with words. That's the Dick and Jane. We have another approach we've used which starts with sentences. That's the McGuffey readers. All 3 have been used, and none are successful with 100% of the kids. What I'm suggesting, and what we do with Crazy Simple, is provide ways for kids to practice so that they always know they can read. They always know they can read. One of our favorite ways is we publish wordless books for young authors. The children tell us the words that should be in the book, and they practice it and they can read it. They're so proud of themselves. So whatever approach you're using for reading, along the way, we want to keep the confidence high. Just like they have confidence that they can talk, we want that same confidence that they can read. Writing should be ever present, should be in the elementary school all day long, continually, no matter what the subject is. We want it to be their favorite subject. If students have ideas that they can express through talking, they can write. We create a couple simple, crazy things so that writing becomes their favorite subject in the elementary school. And math has to make sense. I love John Maxwell's quote that the longest distance between 2 points is a shortcut. Math instruction has been composed of a series of shortcuts. Here's the shortcut on how you get it done, but it doesn't make any sense. It's a shortcut. We can get there much faster with teaching them so it makes sense to them, and then they learn the shortcut. They invent it themselves because it makes sense to them. So don't allow students to ever say, I can't read. Once a student says, I can't read, and the adult says, oh, yes, you can. The kid says, no, I can't. Oh, yes, you can. No, I can't. The kid wins. No, don't ever allow them to get to the place they say, I can't read. Don't let them ever say, I hate writing. It has to be a joyful experience, sharing with everybody how clever they were in their writing. And math has to make sense. They need you to explain it. Division, for example, is so easy to explain. Division is really repeated subtraction. We all know that addition is multiplication is repeated addition. Well, division is repeated subtraction. It's an easy explanation, but it's crazy and it's so simple. Crazy simple education. That's what we do. So they can learn far more than we ever expected if we get rid of the inherited habits that destroy their love of learning, and we take the reading, writing, and math and make them just the most thrilling things you could ever do, extending what they did in their preschool years. I'm Lyle Lee Jenkins. There's a phone number there. You can text me. Text me if you want to talk further. It's no cost. 30 minutes. We'll set up a time. We'll talk and I'll explain details. What it can be if the leader of a school wants what I've just shared with you. It is crazy and simple and can be done in a Christian school, in a public school, and a charter school. Any one of them. We've worked on all 3. Thank you so much.